I saved my husband's life tonight. I used a sharp silver blade to cut his expensive white shirt. I did not kiss his cold lips. I pushed a plastic medical tube down his throat to stop him from dying. My name is Dr. Elena Vance. I work the long dark night shift in a busy city hospital. I am the head doctor of the emergency room. I deal with blood and broken bones every single day. I always stay perfectly calm. A loud red alarm rang at midnight. The fast ambulance brought a critical male patient. The young nurse told me the man was dying from a severe allergic reaction. He took an expired blue pill for male problems. His throat was closing fast. I put on my clean blue medical gloves. I grabbed a sharp pair of metal scissors. I cut open his expensive white silk shirt to check his chest. I looked at his face for the very first time. My heart stopped beating completely. The dying man on the cold metal table was Marcus. He was my legal husband of 5 long years. He wore the exact same expensive watch I bought him for his birthday. I stared at his pale, sweating face in pure absolute shock. Marcus called my phone just 2 short hours ago. He told me he was at the busy airport. He said his late business flight was canceled due to bad weather. He promised to sleep at a hotel and fly home tomorrow morning. He lied to me with a sweet, gentle voice. I finished the emergency medical procedure quickly. His breathing returned to a normal, slow rhythm. I asked the young nurse about the person who called the fast ambulance tonight. The nurse said a young woman brought him to the bright hospital doors. The strange woman paid the emergency bill with thick, cold cash. She ran away into the dark night immediately. She hid her face from the hospital staff. I did not scream or cry in the emergency room. I walked quietly to the small, dark security room. I asked the tired guard to show me the camera video from the front doors. I watched the bright digital screen very carefully. I saw a young woman wearing a tight, bright red dress. She turned her face toward the bright street light for 1 single second. I recognized her pretty face instantly. It was Chloe. She was my husband's sweet, innocent future sister-in-law. I walked back to the quiet emergency room. Marcus was sleeping deeply on the narrow hospital bed. I checked his medical chart with cold, empty eyes. I did not hold his warm hand. I felt pure, deep disgust for the lying man. Marcus woke up a few hours later. He looked around the bright room in panic. He saw my face and his eyes grew wide with pure terror. I kept my voice perfectly flat and professional. I told him he had a bad food allergy. He believed my simple, clean lie instantly. He relaxed his tired body and thanked me. He thought his dirty, dark secret was totally safe. He fell asleep again. I walked over to his expensive black coat on the small chair. I searched his deep, dark pockets carefully. I found a small plastic bottle hidden inside. The bottle contained several expired blue pills. But I noticed something very strange. Small white pills were mixed together with the blue ones. I took the small plastic bottle to the hospital laboratory. I used the expensive testing machines to check the strange white pills. I waited for the digital results in the cold, quiet room. The computer screen showed a terrifying, dark reality. The white pills were strong, dangerous abortion medicine. They destroy early pregnancies quickly and painfully. A massive, heavy wave of pure, dark horror hit my mind. I remembered my own terrible, sudden medical tragedy from exactly 3 months ago. I was pregnant with our first sweet baby. I suffered a sudden, painful miscarriage in our bright kitchen. I bled heavily on the clean floor. Marcus and Chloe were visiting that exact same day. They gave me a glass of warm water. My smart medical brain connected the dark, heavy dots. Marcus did not want a crying baby. A baby would force me to stop working long hours. I paid the expensive house mortgage and his luxury car loan with my big salary. They poisoned me secretly to kill my unborn child. They wanted me to keep working like a blind, stupid slave. They wanted to steal my hard-earned money for their luxury hotel dates. They murdered my sweet, innocent baby. I stood in the cold, bright laboratory for a long time. I did not shed a single hot tear. Sadness is a useless, weak emotion. I felt a sharp, cold, dangerous anger burn in my chest. My silent, bloody revenge started tonight. Marcus returned to our large house the next morning. He played the role of a busy, tired, professional husband. He hugged me and complained about his long, hard business trip. I smiled a polite, cold smile and made him hot, fresh coffee. He complained that I worked too many long night shifts. He said I neglected my duties as a good traditional wife. I listened to his greedy, selfish words quietly. I agreed with him and promised to be a much better partner. Marcus went upstairs to take a long, hot shower. He left his expensive phone and his passwords in his dark coat. He thought I was a blind, trusting fool. I grabbed our home tablet computer and sat on the soft sofa. I hacked into his private digital cloud account easily. I knew his simple, weak passwords. I opened his secret, hidden folders. I found hundreds of dirty digital videos and pictures. They documented his luxury hotel dates with Chloe for over a year. I found their secret private text messages too. They laughed about my long hospital shifts. They joked about the secret white pills in my daily water. They celebrated my painful, bloody miscarriage. They were true, cruel, toxic, evil monsters. I downloaded every single dirty file to a secure secret drive. I gathered a mountain of solid legal evidence. I did not confront him in the bright kitchen. Screaming and fighting is for weak, emotional people. I planned a deadly silent strike. I opened my personal banking application next. I transferred all my hard-earned money out of our joint accounts. I moved the massive funds into a secure private account. I canceled his expensive secondary credit cards with a few simple clicks. I called the most expensive, aggressive divorce lawyer in the city. I ordered him to draft a brutal, strict legal agreement. I wanted Marcus to leave the marriage with absolutely nothing. I wanted him to walk away poor and completely broken. Marcus walked out of the warm shower with a happy smile. He kissed my cheek and thanked me for the hot coffee. I looked at his handsome, lying face. He had no idea his comfortable, rich world was already dead. The grand wedding day finally arrived. Lucas and Chloe booked the most expensive luxury hotel in the city. Hundreds of rich, powerful guests attended the beautiful, bright event. I walked into the massive hall wearing a sharp, elegant, dark black dress. Marcus' mother met me near the tall glass doors. She looked at my dark dress with cold, angry eyes. She mocked me loudly for losing my baby. She called me a useless, empty woman. I ignored her cruel, toxic words completely. Marcus stood next to his brother Lucas. He smiled a fake, proud smile. Chloe wore a massive, expensive white dress. She looked like a pure, innocent, sweet angel. She hugged me and thanked me for coming to her special happy day. The wedding host walked to the center stage. He asked the quiet crowd to watch the large digital screen. He promised a romantic, sweet video about the young couple. The bright room went dark. The massive digital screen lit up suddenly. The screen did not show a sweet romantic story. It showed a high-quality video of Marcus and Chloe in a hotel bed. The speakers played their loud, dirty voices clearly. The wealthy crowd gasped in pure absolute total shock. The video changed to a dark audio recording. The speakers played their cruel secret conversation. They laughed loudly about putting the abortion pill in my water. They laughed about my dead baby. The massive room exploded into chaotic, loud, angry screams. Lucas dropped his expensive glass of wine. He stared at his beautiful bride and his older brother in horror. He cried loud, bitter tears of pure betrayal. Chloe screamed and tried to cover her pale face. Marcus froze like a scared rat. I walked slowly and calmly toward the bright stage. The angry crowd stepped back to give me space. I pulled the thick, heavy divorce papers from my dark purse. I threw the heavy papers directly into Marcus' pale, sweating face. I did not shout or curse at the terrible monsters. I turned my back on the burning chaos. I walked out of the massive hotel doors with proud, strong steps. The red wedding was a perfect, beautiful, total disaster. The terrible wedding video destroyed Marcus completely. His corporate bosses saw the disgusting news online. They fired him from his high-level job immediately. He lost his regular salary and his shiny company car. He became a poor, desperate, angry man. Marcus blamed me for his massive public ruin. He came to my public hospital and shouted loud, dirty lies. He told my medical bosses I was a crazy, toxic woman. He wanted to ruin my professional reputation and my medical career. My hospital managers asked me to take a long, quiet vacation. They hated loud public drama and negative news. I looked at their weak, scared faces. I refused to hide like a guilty criminal. I packed my office boxes instantly. I resigned from my high position that same afternoon. I walked out of the public hospital gates holding a small brown box. I did not feel sad or defeated. I knew my true deep value as a brilliant top medical surgeon. A sleek, expensive black luxury car stopped near the sidewalk. A tall, handsome man stepped out of the dark vehicle. He wore a sharp, perfectly tailored suit. His name was Julian Sterling. He was a famous, powerful billionaire medical investor. Julian smiled a warm, respectful smile. He said he watched my brilliant silent revenge at the grand wedding. He admired my cold logic and my sharp, strong mind. He did not want to offer me a normal, simple doctor job today. Julian owned St. Jude Medical. It was the largest, most expensive private hospital in the entire country. He needed a strong, fearless leader to run his massive empire. He offered me the supreme chief executive officer position right on the street. He offered me massive power and incredible wealth. He handed me a thick, expensive business contract. I looked at the bright blue sky and smiled a calm, peaceful smile. I accepted his golden offer. A new, bright, glorious chapter began today. Marcus tried to push me into the dark, dirty mud. But he accidentally pushed me up to the highest golden mountain. I was no longer a simple, tired emergency doctor. I was the powerful queen of a massive new medical empire. Several quiet months passed since the grand wedding disaster. Marcus and Chloe lost their luxury apartment and their expensive, shiny cars completely. They lived in a tiny, cheap, dirty room near a noisy train station. They desperately needed fast cash. Marcus finally found a terrible new job. He became a cheap medicine salesman. He worked for a very bad, dirty pharmaceutical company. He sold cheap, weak medicine to poor public hospitals. He used dirty cash to bribe greedy bad doctors. He wanted to return to his rich, comfortable life fast. He decided to target St. Jude Medical for a massive illegal contract. St. Jude Medical was the richest, most famous private hospital in the entire city. Marcus did not know I was the new powerful supreme boss. He sneaked into the bright, clean hospital with Chloe one sunny morning. They carried a heavy black bag full of dirty secret cash. They walked into a quiet private office on the second floor. They met two greedy, corrupt medical managers. Vice President Miller and Dr. Evans loved dirty secret money. Marcus handed them thick brown envelopes of cash. He ordered them to buy his cheap, useless medicine for the sick hospital patients. The two bad medical men smiled greedily. They counted the dirty cash and signed the dark, illegal contract instantly. They betrayed their sick patients for a few shiny coins. Meanwhile, Chloe waited outside in the bright, busy hallway. She wore a cheap, tight red dress and cheap high heels. She felt very angry and impatient. A tall woman in a clean white medical coat walked past her quickly. Chloe bumped into the woman rudely and intentionally. She yelled angry, nasty words at the quiet doctor. She ordered the doctor to watch her step and apologize immediately. Chloe acted like an arrogant rich lady again. The tall woman stopped walking and turned around slowly. She looked at Chloe with cold, sharp, peaceful eyes. Chloe dropped her cheap fake leather handbag onto the hard floor in pure absolute deep terror. Her face turned completely pale white. She recognized my calm face immediately. I was not a sad, broken, crying ex-wife anymore. I wore an expensive white coat with a shiny, solid gold name tag. The shiny tag said Chief Executive Officer Elena Vance. Chloe realized the terrible dark truth instantly. She just insulted the supreme ruler of the massive medical empire. I did not slap her face or shout angry words. I looked at her shaking body with pure cold disgust. I stepped over her cheap dropped bag and walked away calmly. My second perfect trap was officially ready. Chloe ran into the private office and told Marcus the terrible news. Marcus panicked, but his dark, toxic greed was stronger than his fear. He refused to run away and lose his dirty contract. He decided to fight me for the massive hospital money. He was a blind, arrogant fool. Marcus used Vice President Miller to pressure me the next morning. Miller walked into my large, bright office with a fake, polite smile. He placed the signed medical contract on my clean glass desk. He told me I could not cancel a legal official business agreement. He tried to threaten my power. He said Marcus would sue the famous hospital for breaking the legal rules. I listened to his stupid threats with a calm, peaceful face. I did not argue or show any sharp anger. I pretended to yield to his heavy pressure. I agreed to respect the dirty medical contract completely. I told Miller to invite Marcus and Chloe to the hospital for a final official meeting. I promised to sign the final approval papers in the VIP conference room. Miller smiled a greedy, happy smile and left my quiet office. He thought he defeated the new female boss easily. Marcus and Chloe arrived at the hospital at exactly 2 o'clock. They wore their best cheap suits. They walked into the massive VIP conference room with proud, arrogant steps. Vice President Miller and Dr. Evans sat at the long wooden table. They all smiled like rich, successful winners. I walked into the quiet room alone. I carried a thin black folder. I sat at the head of the long wooden table. Marcus looked at me with a nasty, arrogant smile. He told me to sign the final approval papers fast. He thought he trapped me in a legal corner. I opened the thin black folder slowly. I pulled out a sleek silver pen. I looked at Marcus and asked him a simple, direct question. I asked if he paid dirty secret cash to my hospital managers for this contract. Marcus laughed loudly and denied the dark crime confidently. He claimed his cheap medicine was the best in the market. He told me to stop playing silly games and sign the paper. I smiled a very cold, sharp smile. I put the silver pen down. I pressed a small hidden button under the heavy wooden table. A large wooden wall panel slid open quietly behind me. The secret hidden room was full of serious, important people. Billionaire Julian Sterling sat in a comfortable chair. The entire hospital board of directors stood behind him. 3 strict financial police officers held professional digital recording cameras. The police officers recorded the entire dirty meeting. They recorded Marcus' greedy, confident lies. The arrogant smiles vanished from their pale, sweating faces instantly. Marcus dropped his expensive pen onto the floor. The heavy steel trap snapped shut around their necks perfectly. The silent, bloody slaughter began right now. The large, bright VIP room became completely silent. Marcus stared at the strict financial police officers in pure terror. He realized I never planned to sign his dirty contract. I picked up his official medical document from the table. I stood up and walked toward a silver machine in the corner. I turned on the loud electrical paper shredder. I pushed his expensive dirty contract into the sharp metal teeth. The machine destroyed the paper into tiny, useless pieces instantly. Marcus watched his greedy, massive dreams turn into cheap trash. He could not speak a single word. I turned to Vice President Miller and Dr. Evans. I spoke with a loud, clear, cold voice. I announced their immediate permanent termination from St. Jude Medical. I fired them on the spot for accepting illegal bribes. Their long, successful medical careers ended in one single dark second. I handed a thick black folder to the strict police officers. The folder contained clear, solid video evidence of their secret dirty cash meetings. I ordered the police to revoke their medical licenses forever. They would never practice medicine or wear a white coat ever again. Miller and Evans fell to their shaking knees. They cried loud, bitter tears and begged for my gentle mercy. They promised to return every single dirty coin. I ignored their pathetic, weak tears completely. The police officers pulled them up and locked cold metal handcuffs on their wrists. Now it was time to finish my lying ex-husband. I walked back to the long wooden table. I placed a sleek digital phone in the center. I called the president of Marcus' dirty pharmaceutical company on speakerphone. The loud ringing sound echoed in the quiet, tense room. The president answered with a cheerful, polite voice. I introduced myself as the CEO of St. Jude Medical. I told him his sales representative Marcus tried to bribe my staff with dirty cash. I informed him the financial police were currently investigating the terrible, massive crime. I gave the president a very strict ultimate choice. I promised to blacklist his entire pharmaceutical company from every private hospital in the country. I promised to destroy his massive business completely. I offered him one single tiny chance to save his rich empire today. I demanded he fire Marcus immediately on the open phone line. The president did not hesitate for a single second. He yelled at Marcus angrily through the loudspeaker. He fired Marcus instantly and threatened to sue him for damages. The president ended the call quickly. Marcus stood frozen in the cold room. He lost his dirty contract, his terrible job, and his fake pride in 5 short minutes. He was totally, absolutely ruined. My flawless professional revenge was sharp, clean, and incredibly deadly. I did not need to raise my voice or break a sweat. 2 tall, strong security guards walked into the bright VIP room. I ordered them to throw the trash out of my clean hospital. They grabbed Marcus and Chloe by their cheap suits. They dragged them toward the heavy glass exit doors. Marcus lost his mind completely. He fell to the hard floor and grabbed my dark shoes. He cried loud, ugly tears like a weak, helpless baby. He begged his sweet ex-wife for a tiny drop of mercy. He promised to leave the city and never bother me again. He looked totally pathetic. Chloe watched his weak, embarrassing behavior with pure disgust. She realized Marcus was a completely broken, useless man. He had 0 money, 0 power, and 0 future. She decided to save her own skin. She showed her true, ugly, toxic colors to everyone in the bright room. Chloe stepped forward and slapped Marcus across the face incredibly hard. The loud, sharp sound shocked the quiet room. She screamed at him with a wild, crazy voice. She called him a stupid, useless failure. She blamed him for the illegal bribes and the fake abortion pills. She claimed Marcus forced her to do those terrible, dark things. She acted like an innocent, scared victim. She looked at me with fake, crying eyes. She begged me to forgive her and let her go free. She betrayed her toxic partner without a single second of hesitation. Marcus stared at Chloe in pure, absolute shock. His beautiful, loyal bride just destroyed him in public. He finally felt the sharp, deep pain of pure betrayal. I looked at the 2 miserable rats fighting in the dirt. I did not feel any pity or sadness for them. I did not answer her fake, stupid tears. I turned my back and walked away from the noisy drama. Julian Sterling stepped forward from the quiet shadows. He stood tall and powerful in his expensive tailored suit. He looked at Marcus with cold, sharp, dangerous eyes. Julian spoke with a smooth, quiet, rich voice. He delivered the final deadly strike. He informed Marcus that he just bought the dirty pharmaceutical company this morning. Julian was the new supreme owner of the massive business. He officially owned Marcus' entire sad, broken professional world. Julian told Marcus he would make sure no company in the country ever hired him again. Marcus was permanently erased from the corporate world. Julian took off his warm, expensive suit jacket. He placed it gently over my tired shoulders to keep me warm. The security guards threw Marcus and Chloe out into the cold, dirty street. The heavy glass doors locked securely behind them. They were completely erased from my bright, clean life. They destroyed each other perfectly. I walked back to my large corner office with my head held high. A full bright year passed since that chaotic afternoon. I cleaned the massive hospital from the inside out. I fired all the greedy, corrupt managers and hired honest, smart doctors. St. Jude Medical became the most respected, trusted hospital in the entire country. We saved thousands of innocent lives daily. I did not keep the extra profit from the canceled dirty contracts. I used the massive saved millions to open a special charity fund. The fund provided free open heart surgery for poor, sick children. I turned dirty, toxic money into pure, bright, healing hope for desperate families. Marcus never recovered from his massive public ruin. He could not find a professional office job anywhere. He owed massive debts to angry, aggressive banks. He eventually found a hard physical job to survive. He became a night shift street cleaner in the cold, dirty city. One freezing rainy night, Marcus pushed his heavy trash cart down a dark, empty street. He wore a dirty yellow coat and old, broken boots. He stopped to sweep wet, dirty leaves under a massive, bright street lamp. He looked up at a giant, glowing digital billboard above him. The massive, bright billboard showed my confident, smiling face. I wore a sharp, elegant black suit. I held a beautiful, shiny gold trophy. The large, bold text announced my name as the National Medical Leader of the Year. Marcus stared at my bright, glorious success in the cold rain. He dropped his dirty, wet broom onto the hard street. He finally realized the massive, heavy price of his cruel betrayal. He threw away a diamond to pick up a cheap, dirty rock. He had to spend the rest of his miserable life cleaning trash in my bright shadow. I stood inside my large, warm glass office on the top floor of the hospital. I looked down at the beautiful, glowing city lights. Julian Sterling walked into my quiet room holding a bottle of expensive vintage red wine. He poured 2 crystal glasses perfectly smoothly. Julian did not treat me like a weak, fragile prize. He did not try to control my massive power with his rich money. He looked at me with deep, pure respect. He saw a strong, brilliant, equal partner. We raised our crystal glasses in the quiet, warm room. We drank the rich, sweet wine and watched the peaceful night sky. I survived a terrible, dark betrayal and a painful, bloody loss. I did not scream or cry or beg for love. I used my sharp, intelligent mind to build an unstoppable golden empire. The best revenge is never loud, violent, or bloody. The absolute best revenge is massive, beautiful, undeniable success. You let the evil monsters rot in the dark, dirty mud. Then you climb to the highest, bright mountain and touch the stars. My silent, glorious victory was finally complete.